Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Nick from Nicholas and Gia. A few weeks ago, Gia made a video about how she's able to travel the world as a digital nomad, working as a 100% self-employed freelance English and Spanish teacher. Today, I'm going to be doing the same, talking about how I'm able to live indefinitely abroad and enjoy earning an American salary while living in much cheaper cost of living locations. So, all of the different jobs that I do can kind of fit under this broader category of writing. I work primarily as a freelance content and copywriter. I have a couple different clients. I'm going to give you a broad overview of all the different things that I do and then give you some advice on how to pursue this type of career for yourself because I think you'll see a lot of information online that talks about how difficult it is, and it's honestly not that bad if you know where to look, how to start, and kind of how to develop yourself as a writer. So my main client is a product marketing job. I write a lot of emails, product descriptions, landing pages, just general copywriting things. And that brings me in about 2000 USD per month. And it's really good to have like a major client or even a job that pays enough to cover your basic bills, because that takes a lot of the stress out of constantly having to hunt for new clients, and it allows you to really focus on finding like higher paying clients or clients in the industry that you're really passionate about writing in. And because I have this main, I call it cornerstone client, doing product marketing work, I'm able to be really selective with who I work with. And so I also work as a freelance blog writer for two other companies. I work for one of the biggest marketing agencies as a freelance kind of filler writer. So when they get overflow work, they send it to different freelancers. I'm one of those. I write technology articles. I pull from my past experience as a product manager, and I'm able to do that and earn maybe about $1,000 per month. And then my other job is writing for a crypto company. This is not as common of work as the other one, so I don't have the same amount of volume, and as such, the amount of money that I earn each month is considerably less for this company. But I'm very passionate about crypto. I wrote my thesis in university about how crypto can be applied to writing and publishing to revolutionize the industry, and so it's just a thing I'm really passionate about. And that brings me about five to 750 US dollars per month. Outside of those three main clients, I'm able to pick up spec work here and there. And if I was going to average it out, it'd probably be between 300 to 500 a month. And then additionally, I do some bookkeeping work for one of my previous employers. I had an internship with a company back in college, and when I was about to hit the road, I hit them up and was able to negotiate a deal to do a lot of their invoicing and ordering for roughly about 500 US dollars. And then finally, I make about $200 through a web development business that I started a few years back. I still have one client from that. I'm not actively trying to grow that business, but the product has already been delivered. They're still enjoying it, and so there's no reason to stop it. And so all in, I typically make between 3,500 and 4,500. Some months are better, some months are lower. And of course, I have to pay taxes on that, which as an American can be quite high as a freelancer. But it allows me to live this lifestyle where I'm able to see the world and still have savings, probably even greater savings than I would have if I took a corporate job back home. And so now you might be wondering, how could you emulate this and become a freelance writer for yourself? And I think the biggest thing is to remove any of the preconceptions that you might have about traditional careers, right? You don't need a resume. I've never sent a resume to a client that I've successfully landed. And you don't need a lot of experience in the terms of like years, right? Like a lot of jobs will say you need 3 years of experience doing XYZ. As a writer, none of that matters. What you need is a portfolio, and people are going to tell you that you need a fancy website. I make like $4,000 a month. I don't have a website for my writing, at least for my like business writing. I do for my books, but not for this type of stuff. And it doesn't matter. Just throw together a nice portfolio in Notion. Have some live links to blogs that you've published if you have them. If you don't, I'll talk about that in a second. But if you have them, lead with like your biggest clients. Like if you've written for a company that everybody's heard of, lead with that. And then tell them about what you do. Communicate your story somehow. Make it creative. Make it unique to you so that you stand out when people send them. I've seen people do it with Google Docs, all kinds of different platforms. I think Notion looks the best, and I think it helps you stand out, but it doesn't matter what you use. Another thing to do is to think about where the business owners are and kind of live in those spaces online. A lot of people have tremendous success finding clients on Twitter. I haven't really. For me, a lot of money and a lot of business owners are living on LinkedIn and Facebook groups. So go to Facebook groups, find relevant ones. Maybe if you're a technology writer, go to a technology group, find companies that have needs, and just pitch your services. Don't do it in an aggressive way that's off-putting, but communicate your value in some way or another. And this is sounds difficult and vague, but you have to just honestly just shoot shots, and eventually some will land. When I first started out, I was taking jobs. I was doing all kinds of crazy things. I wrote like a digital business card for $30 on websites. I've done all kinds of things. And as you progress, you're gonna figure it out. Like it sounds really difficult, and a lot of people will be naysayers because it's atypical. But if I was able to do it, I'm 23 right now. I freelanced for like a couple of years, and it was fairly easy for me to go full time and travel the world. Then you can too. Like I didn't have any connections to writing. My whole family's working class. My mom's a hairdresser. My dad was a roofer. Like I had no connections to this. I didn't go to an elite university. Um, I just decided, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna give myself a couple months to pull this off. And if I do, I'm gonna be able to travel the world. And if I don't, then I'll just be in the same position that everybody else who didn't try is in. But at least I can, go to my grave saying I gave it a go. So I think that if being a digital nomad and traveling the world is something that is of interest to you, and you maybe have an English degree or some sort of humanities degree, you have writing experience, you think that you could be good at content writing, then just do it. I think it's worth the try. And then one more piece of advice that I would give you is that if you don't have a lot of experience directly in copywriting, maybe don't market yourself as a copywriter, but be a blog writer. And a good title would be like maybe a content marketing manager or a content marketing writer, something like that, because in my opinion, the barrier of entry to blog writing is much lower than copywriting. Because if somebody hires you to write sales or Facebook ads, they're going to be expecting an ROI on their money. ROI just means return on investment. And they're going to want to say, okay, I gave you $1,000. You wrote 5 emails. It made me $4,000 or whatever. They're going to expect that. With blog writing, it's a little bit different than that. It's a little more holistic. It takes more time, and like if you are nailing down the content, and if you're a really strong writer and you do your research, your blogs will be good. The same can't be said with like an email, because there's like little sales tricks, there's psychological ticks that you have to do, there's all of those little pieces that maybe aren't things that are intuitive to a humanities person. I don't know. That's something to keep in mind. When I first started out, I got paid like $1,000 for a landing page, and it was just terrible. And I ended up refunding the guy's money and learning from it. And then I did the work, and now I'm able to do those types of projects, and they are higher paying, but they're almost completely different than any writing you've ever done. So I wouldn't rush into that if I were you, or if I was like a newbie into freelancing. I would stick with finding something that you know a lot about or that you're interested in. So for me, I'd worked in tech, I've worked for software as a service companies, I've written a thesis at university about crypto. So, and there's money in those industries. Um, so I just picked those, and that's what I write in primarily, right? Like I love soccer, and there is places that have soccer content, but they're not going to pay as good as a software company. That's another thing to keep in mind. Whatever businesses that you're pitching to, you want to kind of be chasing the money, right? So imagine that like money is a river, right? If you stand close enough to that river, eventually you're going to get wet. But if you are standing in the middle of the desert, it's going to be difficult, right? It doesn't rain very much in the desert, and the same can be said with industries that are like more cool, like sports or things like that. Like it's possible, but if your goal is, okay, I want to be on the road in 3 months, I wouldn't suggest it. All right, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are trying to be digital nomads, or you already are, let me know in the comment section down below what you do for work and where you currently are, or maybe what the place is that you're most excited for.